This is creme, 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 creme.
Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! Another day is here. Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies! Wake up, Billies! Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Billies our hopes for to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen like I got blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or
Morning and welcome to Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes for this morning, Wednesday, April 16, 2025. From behind the zinc fence, sweet Southside Belize City. I'm Sister YaYa, Marin Coleman, sitting in for Brother Most High, and it's our time, Wednesday morning. And you know, from 6:30 to 9, it's community conversations here at XTV, simulcasting on Crumb Radio, lacking on YouTube, XTV Belize, and Facebook, XTV Belize. Trust everybody feel good, and then count down to the long weekend, Easter weekend. I would trust that on Belize and I win cross country Saturday. Before we get to that, though, we have to get through today. So we're going to start off with the weather forecast by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. The forecaster is Crystal Rosales. And then we're going into the first news brief for the morning, brought to us under the leadership of Creme News Director Maricela Maya and her team. We definitely got a team who work on the news. So straight into the forecast for the day, the weather forecast that is.
Good morning. Relatively moist conditions will prevail over the country. In the 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with cloudy spells today and then cloudy at times tonight. A few showers or light rain may develop over some coastal and southern areas today, then mostly over the south tonight. Elsewhere, showers, if any, will be isolated. And then high temperatures for today will reach around 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 90 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 78 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 76 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 69 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 63 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, while sea conditions will be light chop to choppy, and then a high tide with low tides occurring at 11:14 this morning and then at 12:57 tomorrow morning. Low tides at 6:48 this evening and then at 5:48 tomorrow morning, while moonset is at 7:47 this morning and moonrise at 9:29 tonight, and then sunset will be at 6:09 this evening and sunrise at 5:35 tomorrow morning. Then for the extended forecast for Thursday and Thursday night, mainly fair conditions with only isolated showers developing and a chance for slightly more over the south. And in the fire risk forecast, the risk for brush or forest fires will be moderate to high, especially over the northern half of the country for Thursday. And in the sargassum update, satellite imagery continued to show high concentration of sargassum over the area. Therefore, there is a high chance that more sargassum mats will continue drifting ashore during the next several days. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news. weather, and sports. And now, the news.
After 6 years, cases of malaria have been detected in Santa Elena Town and Cristo Rey Village in the Kaya district. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says these cases mark the first instances of local transmission since 2019. Malaria is transmitted to humans by the Anopheles mosquito. Symptoms include fever with chills and sweating every 48 to 72 hours. The initial case was detected on January 17. Then there were additional cases detected on March 11 and April 5th. The ministry says that of the 4 confirmed cases in 2025, 3 are attributed to local transmission and 1 is deemed imported from Petén, Guatemala. The cases were detected based on routine surveillance in the public and private health sectors. After supervised treatment and follow-up, the ministry says all patients are now testing negative. The ministry has since implemented house-to-house fever screening, increased fogging for mosquitoes, and larviciding and community awareness campaigns. As part of enhanced surveillance in Santa Elena, Santa Cruz, Hillview, and Cristo Rey, people who have or recently had fever in the last 30 days are being tested. People who traveled to neighboring countries in the past 30 days and who have fever and chills are asked to go to the nearest health facility to be tested for malaria. The ministry is encouraging people to use insect repellent to prevent mosquito bites, maintain clean surroundings, and eliminate standing water around homes. In an advisory this week, Mexican health authorities reported that for Epi Week 14, from March 30 to April 5th, there were 2,549 probable cases of whooping cough in Mexico, with close to 700 of those being confirmed. 37 deaths were ascribed to whooping cough in 14 states in Mexico. In Quintana Roo, there are 29 suspected cases, of which 4 are confirmed. During the press briefing on measles on Monday, the Ministry of Health's technical advisor, Dr. Natalia Baer, addressed whether this is a concern to Belize.
We have, as part of the expanded program on immunization, we have the surveillance of vaccine preventable diseases, and whooping cough is included there. We have had some small outbreaks almost nearly every year, but one factor is unvaccinated children. So we know that the virus is circulating, but the level of vaccination is helping for outbreaks not to occur or to stop the spread of any outbreaks that we may have. So we have had small clusters of persons infected with whooping cough, but there are children not vaccinated, unvaccinated children.
As we enter the Easter weekend, many Belizeans are already daydreaming of sand and sea. However, in the Orange Walk district, a potential legal battle may be brewing that is drawing residents' attention. The village of San Jose Nuevo Palmar, known simply as Palmar, sits adjacent to Orange Walk town, separated by a street. Despite this, the village tries to have its distinct character. The village council is proud of its designated green public spaces. One such space, the Sibal Yum Nature Park, which means God's gift, is in jeopardy of being subdivided into private lots. Village Chairman Orlando Ayuso says that the Village Lands Committee does not have the jurisdiction to carry out such work.
Okay, well, what happened is that on October 27th, we declared this public space known to the villagers as Sibalium Nature Park as a public park. It was after that they had the lands election and the lands committee changed, no? But now this new lands committee held a meeting this past Sunday in which from that meeting, they came up with the idea to subdivide this park. We have put in a lot of work on this park to get it where it is. It was once a park. It was once just an open area filled with grass, a lot of garbage. People used to use it as a dump. Almost daily, somebody would come and dump dead animals. And that stench used to affect the whole community that is around here. And now they're very grateful that we cleaned up this area. And everybody's making use of this park. Little children come out to play during the day. In the afternoons, people come and work out. They walk around the park. They ride their bicycles around the park. And this is a declared park. So I don't know why this little group of people want to subdivide. No? Palmar is a very unique village in which the land is controlled by descendants. And then you have the non-descendants living beside them who don't have right to land. They would have to purchase land from the descendants for them to have a piece of land of their own. But that does not mean that that gives them the right to go and destroy a park that has been declared a green area. So whatever struggles they have, whatever controversy they have between the old lands committee and the new lands committee, that is their thing for them to solve as descendants. My position as a village council chairman is to ensure that this continues being a public area.
Ayusa said the park is legally certified as a public green space. He added that area representative for Orange Walk East, Honorable Kevin Bernard, is currently acting as mediator. However, the council is prepared to take the matter to court.
The lands committee controls lands, but in this case, their right ceases because this has been declared a public space. Officially, we did an inauguration on October 27th. We have a certificate, which I will share with you later, that this is a public space. And once it becomes a public space, the Village Council Act puts that under the Village Council for us to manage, for us to keep that land clean and safe and going. So my job as a Village Council chairman is to protect this piece of land so that it continue being a public park for the people to enjoy. Not just for one person, it is for everybody to enjoy, and it doesn't belong to any particular person. This belongs to every single person of the village, and even our neighbors across the borderline, because right here, right nearby, we border the tongue. They're welcome to come and use the park, and they do come and use the park because it's already a usable space. But we are willing to take it all the way to court and let the court make a ruling on it if needs be. So far, what we have done, I sent them a letter on Sunday. And we have also contacted the area rep, for him to mediate, no? He is being very neutral in looking at what are the facts. He is being very neutral in trying to find what is the solution. So we don't know if we're gonna end up at court, but if that needs to be done, we'll go all the way there.
News Room reached out to the chairman of the San Jose Nuevo Palmar Lands Committee for comment, but he declined an interview. The newly formed Belize Premier Basketball League has named Claudia C. Leal as its first commissioner. In a statement, the league described Leal as a, quote, visionary leader poised to enhance the integrity, competitiveness, and overall growth of professional basketball in Belize. Mr. Leal brings a wealth of diverse experience and proven leadership to the role, end quote. Leal has a Master of Arts in Christian Studies from Wesley Biblical Seminary and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management from Columbia Southern University with specialized certification in regulation and utility management. He also has over 30 years of public service, including at the Public Utilities Commission. In his capacity as commissioner, Leal will direct strategic choices meant to promote long-term growth, supervise league-wide operations, and enforce rules. The league also named 2 deputies to the post. First deputy is Francis Arzu, a pivotal member of the 2-time BEBL champions, Belize Hurricanes. Second deputy is Amir Garcia, a former standout basketball player with extensive football management experience. Leal explained that this new league will have new teams and a new format. 7 teams will be spread across 5 districts. He also explained what the champions would get as prizes.
The format that we're using this year is a threefold. We have 3 cups. We have a Tucan Cup, a Mayan Cup, and the big cup, which is the Jaguar Cup. The Tucan Cup comprises of what we call the North-South Conference, which comprises of Corozal, which is now Sarah Sun, which is a brand new team, first time ever in pro basketball in Belize. We also have San Pedro Tiger Sharks. They're not new to any basketball league. We also have what we call the EZ Investment Dream Ballers from Dangriga. They are part of this North-South Conference playing for the Tucan Cup. And finally, we have the Punta Gorda Panthers. So there's 4 teams that makes up the North-South Conference playing for the Tucan Cup. The winner of that cup gets $5,000. We also have a second cup, which is the Maya Cup, which is the East-West Conference, which makes up of Belize City Thunderbolts, which is a brand new basketball team. Also, we have Capital City Kings, which is from Belmopan. And finally, we have the Western Ballers from Cayo. So these 7 teams represent 5 districts. We'll be vying for what we call 2 cups. Winners from both cups get $5,000 each. Play for the big dance, the Jaguar Cup, $15,000. 20 gold rings goes to the team for the victorious team.
That's the end of the news brief this morning here at XTV. You could listen to more news after this show ends from 9 to 12. There's the Morning Stew on Creme Radio. And you get local news, commentary, affirmations, jokes, callers calling and share for their 2 cents. At 12:30, there's a full news package. At 3 o'clock, there's a news brief. At 5:15, there's a full news package at Creme Radio. YaYa XTV, at 6 o'clock, there's a full news package. So on the link in local channels, YouTube, Facebook, when you want news, you come to Zinc Spaces. We're going to take one quick break, come back, open the phone lines.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
Randolph Friesen, and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Years ago, we built a company that is about more than just connection through technology. We've been partners
back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this Wednesday before Holy Saturday. I'm not feel the cross-country vibes, you know. I don't like that. I don't hear enough bugle. I don't hear enough conversation. I don't like that. So if you don't want to call and talk up cross-country, you know, call and talk up cross-country. Oh, today, a Mandela newspaper out. Get it in a Mandela newspaper. $1.50. The headline reads, Belize records first measles cases in 34 years. Sweet victory at BCC's annual Hot Cross Bun and Food Festival. Morning, talk to me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Ernesto Torres here. Good morning, dear.
Morning, talk to me.
And I am Brother Mo's, Brother Mo's most friendly friend. Yes, good morning. And what I'm serious with this thing that Palma, no, I hear the news just now. I tell myself, them people, I don't get clarity, no, but with the little I have heard the same time, I hear the chairman of Palma, yeah, and saying something about the one take away the land from the park. Lordy, boy, oh boy. Man, Miss YaYa, listen how we have problems right now with the MCC ground. Don't you think that MCC ground should have been 3 times larger to accommodate volume? We know the thing about human element volume, you know. In the next 20, 30 years, Orange Rock, I got 8,000, I got 70,000. Lordy, we can't see yonder. Anyway, I have to say, great and safe Easter to all, no? And man, let me say, I look forward for Belize and win the bicycle cross country race tomorrow, man.
Saturday, not tomorrow, Saturday.
I mean, sorry. You know, today, that is the last day of car. My bad. Yeah, I live happy and say, no good, but happy. Yeah, but I need to say also know that once I class myself imperfect, man, you know, and we must be mindful that in times like Easter, all right, we do a lot of outing, like for saying pleasure trip, picnics, go out with the families and things like that, you know. But my experience tells that I drink Meridiana, only Belikin, made in Belize. Okay? Yeah. That my experience tells that before I begin to consume liquid what I call off water. Anything with off water, we got, you know, the thing that forget you high. Yeah. Before why do I consume and before I consume the liquid, I consume food first. If I go out in the morning, grab a big breakfast, and I try my endeavor that during the day, I will tell you what I experience. When I drink during the day, man, I don't want to eat 12 o'clock. I don't want to eat that evening. All I want that tatara. So what I do, I try my endeavor not to drink during the day. Oh, when in the evening and night, oh no, you're a whole case for me. Yeah, well, yeah, I first consume food, you see, and as I go along, the technically, you know, water liquid, I interrupt it by swallowing, you know, biting leaf book and things like that. And then you get you like maybe 20-30% high, but not 90% high. You go give account of yourself. But with that said, I will again say great Easter to all, either at home or when moving on roads. And to yourself also, my dearest. Take care.
Thank you, Brother Torres. During Easter, with us, especially drivers, cyclists, be careful. Brother Torres talked specifically about people who consume alcohol. People who are responsible for children, especially other people's children, whether they're in the water, whether they play in your yard. Adults, we have on duty to take care of these children. I know an accident could happen, but I wouldn't want an accident happen because of neglect. So I'd ask we to make our place safe for our own well-being during this Easter holiday. Number is 280-5848. Now, the Mandala newspaper, I'm going to read the headlines. Elmer Na, triple murder case begins. Case management begins for Elmer Na, charged for triple murder of John, David, and Vivian Ramirez. NAS announces Farmers of the Year 2025. Get on our Mandala newspaper. Ooh, that one good morning. The phone, the ring. Morning, talk to me.
I disturb again. I know you the read your Mandala. I give me copy that routinely every Friday. At least I could read the Mandala another WhatsApp so I can read the report and the one there for the what you call it. I forget. Anyway, understand? Yeah, but yeah. Yes, you touch base about accidents, my friend. I meet a lot of people who will tell me, tourists, you talk about road safety. Boss, when you turn, forbid you and dead. I said, listen, I name Mr. Tourist, and I name Jesus Christ. But let me tell you, yes, when you turn, look here where you do. You go hide in a rubber boots under the tree. That become for you. But let me tell you, that so long as you have life, you have to protect it. Because worldwide, globally speaking, you have lots of people that get into road accidents, not incident, road accidents, and then damage up their body, their spinal cord. They can't walk, they're bedridden. That's the part I look at. That's why every soul, with due respect, I teach to drive, or I share my experience. I won't call it teach. I said to them, if I should come to an event or an accident where I will become disabled, I don't ask the good Lord, please, my Lord, carry me home. Because you will be a burden on whoever. And that person who you be burden at one spell of the day, all right, you holler against your needs. Because you can't get up for go to the bathroom. For take your shower, they have to care for you. These are the things I look on. Not that Kami can't stop that. But yes, so long as you have life, my friend, you must try to protect it. That is why I keep insisting, the more we learn the rules of the road, the better and safer we become. But that's difficult for convince the converted. While you learn one way, my friend, that's it, because habits difficult to change. Thanks again for the privilege.
All right,
Take
Brother
care
Torres. Yes, so be mindful, Belizeans, and especially when the race they on, please follow the rules. Allow the cyclists and the people in whatever motorbike they record, people in a vehicle, be careful. We say it over and over again every year. Take it to heart. As an adult, you have a responsibility to be careful on the road. Now, this morning, we have one guest from 8 to 8:30. She is a European American. She's been living and working in El Salvador for over 30 years. And so the individual lead one non-governmental organization and working on marginalized working class communities. So I may want to read from the individual of what they go on in the communities and what people have to say about choices with the administration they make, especially as it relates to the prison complex, and for make Belizean people hear one different perspective other than where corporate media, traditional media report. Now, I want to focus this morning on utilities. May I be the first one to say, if there's one place in Belize part I have a reputation of bad behavior, it's at Belize Water Services Limited. And I got in there yesterday. I worked on being a better person. I definitely not as bad as I've been in the past, but I still have room for growth. This is the situation. I'm responsible for the Library of African and Indigenous Studies. I've been leading it since 2006. And for the first time, last year, 2024, we usually pay a flat rate. We don't use the library like we used to because we don't have the finance for pay somebody for open the library and provide adequate services to the children who need it. The most we use the library that in the month of July for a summer film for our brother Cliff Augustine summer film photography camp. So, if I need to have one meeting we have one meeting. We pay flat rate for the water that our Library of African and Indigenous Studies. Last year, I noticed the bill they go up. I just pay for it. So what are we to pay like maybe $10 a month? For the whole of 2024, we end up paying like $600 for the bill. So in January 2025, I say, yeah, you're on the better. Get a plumber for come in, look on it. So I'm going to pay the January bill. So I missed the payment date and then disconnect the bill for the first time, then disconnect the service for the first time. No problem, that was totally on me. I asked them what are the bill, I pay the bill. I asked them what are the process for reconnect it. Then say from the date of disconnection, you have 90 days, then you have to pay the reconnection fee. I said, okay, no problem. So in that process, because the bill they go up because the water they get used, but we not use it. So I did think, well, then they said we have one leak, but I look in at the bathroom, there's no leak in the bathroom. So, okay. So when I have conversations with them in January, they said to me that you could get to a meter verification team from BWS to come out and check the situation. So I said, okay, I could do that. So I believe the meter verification team come out in March. And the meter verification team say, you have one leak. I know you can't see it in the bathroom, but we definitely detect that there's a leak. And then, okay then, thanks. Had a plumber come out in March. Plumber fixed the leak. It was an underground leak, so we don't have to find it. No problem. After the plumber looked on it, I called BWS and I asked them, what are the process for reconnect the water? And say, come in and pay the reconnection fee. But you have to do it before the 90 days period done. I said, okay, no problem. So I got in yesterday to pay the reconnection fee. Sat down with the clerk at BWS. The person did the paperwork, give me a piece of paper and tell me go to the cashier and pay the $25 to reconnect. So I said, okay. Then I asked them about the water bill at my house. Give them my ID. And when I'm putting my ID back up, the clerk said, can I have the paper back? And I say, why you want the paper back? No, I don't feel my inside, they start to raise because something tell me, yeah, if I give them people the paper back, there's going to be a conflict. But I say, do the right thing. I said, why you want the paper back? It said, a deposit was not paid on this account. I look at her and I give him back the paper. I say, well, that not got nothing to do with me. So he say, you have to pay $200. I say, I know to pay $200. I say, I come in and I ask you what I have to do for reconnect it. I call and ask you what I have to do for reconnect it. And that was not told to me. I know to pay it. So he said, well, make a talk to my supervisor. So he talked to his supervisor. Supervisor said to me, that the policy. He said, so the supervisor said, I hear you that the person never tell you, but that upon the individual. I said, no, that individual represent this company. That is on this company. So he said, well, what we can do? He said, you have till we reconnect the water today. When I'm building an account, you have till the end of the month to pay it. No, my voice raised. No, I don't really go on as bad as I know for going on at BWS, but my voice raised. And I said, listen, I have one issue with this. I have an issue with this because I called the company, I visited the company, and I asked. Or they never tell me that. 1. 2, I definitely don't have $200 to give you, no right now, no later. At the time when the account opened, however long ago that was, maybe it wasn't a policy that you pay and deposit, so it wasn't paid. So then she said to me that because of the first time it get disconnected, so you would not have known. So I said, so BWS cannot enforce a policy what I don't know about. Now I could say or make a know like, okay, next time I get disconnected, then I cool at that. So she said, well, you have till the end of the month. I said, you know what? I go in the Public Utilities Commission, go make one complaint. So she said, okay. So I said, you know, Papa, you see you got an office? They never know if I have the office. So she said, you still have till the end of the month. So I said, well, you know the Holy Week, and I don't know how long PUC you want to take to respond to my complaint. So I concerned about the end of the month period for pay the $200. She said, I usually answer back pretty quick. I said, okay. So I gone, pay my bill. When I walk out, the receptionist stopped me and asked me if I have the receipt for when I make the payment in January, because they have the cashier number or something on it. And I said, I have to go look for it. I thought about it overnight, and I get up this morning and I said, they don't need my receipt for that. That's a part of their accountability. They could go in for their system and say that who I'm the cashier, would I make the payment, would tell me that. Anyways, as much time as I go in at BWS and have one, I feel that one of the spaces where I have one right to express my righteous anger, because they have so many things where I complain about legitimately. Belizean people complain in the line amongst themselves, but in the line, I just send email to them board of management, I write supervisor, I call supervisor. There's just so much complaint I have dealing with the company. And they're not just my complaints sometimes, the other people complain that take up sometimes. But they have a lot to be desired when it comes to public relations. Anyways, yesterday I had the time. So, well, I go in a PUC today. Call PUC number 2 times, nobody answered the phone. Catch one taxi and gone. So for who I know, the Public Utilities Commission, whether the regulator for utility services, Belize Electricity Limited, BWS, telecommunications, I don't know if it's something else, but I know they're treated, right? It's at the Marina Towers on Marine Parade across from Thursday on the 2nd floor. You go in on the left, you're signing with security, you go up to the 2nd floor, there's a receptionist there, talk to the receptionist. Gone upstairs. Tell the receptionist where I come from. The receptionist say, everybody in a meeting right now. So I said, so what am I supposed to do? She said, well, I'm not supposed to left the front area unattended. I said, but you could send an email. I said, I'm not going to send an email. I call because I want to see somebody under 4 eyes. So you tell me what I have to do. So he left the area. He said, in about 15 minutes, somebody will come see me. No problem. When I sit down the wait, I look at my phone and I realized that I had the Public Utilities Commission WhatsApp phone number. And I want to give you the phone number. And I've said more than once, Belizean people, there's certain phone numbers that you need to put in on a phone and keep in on a phone, because you never know when you need their phone numbers. I mean, we know about fire service, police department, maybe the people that were responsible if you have bees in your community. There's certain numbers we really need for keep in our phone, because you never know when you are needing. So Public Utilities Commission, PUC, have one WhatsApp phone number. And that number is, how I know to say the WhatsApp number? Okay, I'll come back and get it. I have the Public Utilities Commission WhatsApp number. That number is 672-7820. 672-7820, that the Public Utilities Commission WhatsApp number when you have concern. Now, they do have one Communications and Consumer Affairs Manager. Her name is Sheena Garbutt, Communications and Consumer Affairs Manager. Sheena Garbutt. But I never till I get there looking at my phone, I said that I had this number. When she come out, she said, yeah, she like remember the month and the year. She said, I did communicate with her last year. I don't even remember. So, very good listener. First off, it make me day. You want to make my day? Tell me you listen to Zinc. Or make I go in a place of business and I hear one of we media hosts there. Definitely make my day because it matters that people listen and who are the people who listen. And so, she was kind in her greeting and wants to settle. And then they say, oh, this is the dress over the top for this morning. I said, yeah, tune in, sis. She was a very good listener, excellent communicator. He shared that PUC that a regulator as it relates to tariffs. So the concern I have, and she took the notes for the concern I have, that one internal matter. I want to follow up. There's certain things that I'm supposed to send to her, like the plumber report. I want to send to she. And then she want to follow up and make I know what that a response. One of the things I find out in talking to her is that BWS have one, it's online, but I don't know an online person. I like whole thing in my hand. I want one book, I want to read. It's called, Harlan Yokoshone. It's the Code of Practice for Belize Water Services. It is outdated. It's approved by the Public Utilities Commission, September 13, 2004. The Code of Practice for Belize Water Services. No. So she showed me a couple things in there where I never aware of this code. Belizean people need to have this knowledge. Now, one fault where I would have said BEL and BWS have is that, and not only them, but at the top about utilities, and at the top about then two utilities specifically, because these are utilities that we need. Now, what we want, what we need, water and electricity. A couple years ago, I approached BEL and BWS because I saw the need to have one stronger connection with the community and sharing knowledge and sharing concerns for build relationship. Of course, it come at a cost because I don't work for free. They weren't interested. No problem. Earlier this year, I get one call from BEL. They have an interest now in building that relationship as it relates to a Southside initiative. Said, no problem, could have a conversation. Last week, I sat down with them and two community workers, two community organizers, that in a progress. What they communicate right now. In a process where I gonna have the meeting or we gonna have the meeting, you have to lead the process, the meeting. I bring up today that one concern would be the new, there's a new BEL, Belize Electricity Limited, submit to Public Utilities Commission, they want to raise the rates, right? So it's a 91-page document, and it's the 2025 Annual Review Proceedings Submissions. Now, usually, we hear it on the news, and then whatever happened. But for the most part, Belizeans don't know. It's very technical. Oftentimes, we not go to these consultations because we have to let for we community, then talking our technical language, then all like then genuinely want to hear what we have to say, and what we have to say want to get used enough for the negotiations in the best interest of people. So because we live in our capitalist system and about money than about people and that lived experience, that research, for the most part, they're not the people are the priority. Money the priority, and that address the capitalist system, and they couldn't make the money than ever people. So be very clear that the Belizean people are the owners of the utilities company. We own BWS, we own BEL. We own it. And so in time, go on like one whole fool, the BWS, I make them know either the employer, I'm not happy with the employees. So, we need to pay, as a matter of fact, there's a story in the Amandala about the proposed, it's on page 4. It's called BEL, the question, BEL rates to go up. So, and I said I'm going to take on no more project for 2025 because I am swamped. Here I go again. So I take I know I start off with BWS, at the top of utilities this morning, I'll get back there. I take the BEL tariff long paperwork and I send it to one of my international people this morning, right? So what one of my international people do, what I would have never think I do, is that then gone and then put it, then gone to AI. So that's what the person say. They ask AI for the one-page plan, language summary, of this 91-page document. And the person said, I acknowledge how bad generative AI is for the environment and how it is programmed to be racist. And I value, I communicate with a European, a conscious one, being forthright with me about that. Now, remember now, one of my concerns is that you need for talking a language that people could understand and that people are talked to with respect. I don't always do it. I hope to master it one day. And I'm not saying that frivolously, I really mean it. So I sent Harlan, this is interesting. This is a one page. I got to, we're going to break 7:30, so I got time for share this morning. And when I learn, I like share with other people. But it's been interesting, right? This is a one page. It said, what BEL's 2025 rate increase proposal means for you. What's happening? BEL wants to raise electricity rates starting January 1st, 2026. They're asking the government to approve an increase from 40 cents to 43 cents per kilowatt hour. This increase would last until June 30, 2028. Why are prices going up? Imported energy is getting more expensive. BEL's costs, like fixing power lines, running the company, and paying workers, are rising due to inflation. Has always a raise due to inflation. For we salaries, for we wages, no raise to match inflation. We not get paid one living wage. And a lot of Belizeans are underemployed and unemployed regardless of where Statistical Institute of Belize data say. What for them numbers say, and what we live on the ground, they're always two different things. So on paper it look good, but we were the outer road, majority of the working class people, that's enough for we liberty, and that hasn't been our liberty for years. Then BEL need money to upgrade the power system, make it more reliable, and add new renewable energy like solar and battery storage. I hear that thing over and over again. What will this pay for? 395 million Belize dollars in new projects like better power lines and new equipment. 46 million Belize dollars to keep things running in 2025, salaries, repairs, etc. Morning, talk to it.
I want to interrupt your conversation for 15 seconds.
Yes, brother, go ahead.
The terminology of electrical or doing lines or being a lineman or working in the industry, like you said, everything is going up. In America, Mexico, you got to use your buy Mexico's power and everything. And the number one key consideration of price is copper and aluminum, which is used in the electrical work, which is going up every day. Copper and aluminum is the highest stock in America right now, dealing with that. That's like gold in America, copper and aluminum. That's what makes current run in Belize and all over the world. Solar, copper, and aluminum. That's why things are going up, sis. Think about it. Please.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the calling. Okay. Valid point, and I think about that. And then it says, So it's 395 million Belize dollars in new projects like better power lines and new equipment. 46 million Belize dollars to keep things running in 2025, salaries, repairs, etc. 65.6 million Belize dollars to correct past due collections from 2023. A plan to create a new BEL-owned power generation company. Remember now, this is the AI one-page synopsis of the 91-page tariff thing where BEL sent to Public Utilities Commission. New billing system coming. A time of use pricing system is being proposed. You may pay different rates depending on the time of day you use electricity. Heavy users may face extra demand charges. This is optional for regular households, but might apply more to large businesses and solar users. Almost done. What's the bigger picture? BEL says this is part of its long-term plan to make the electricity supply more stable and modern. Add more renewable energy like solar farms. Prepare for future needs like electric cars and better internet systems. And the last point, what does it mean for working people? Your light bill may go up slightly, about 3 cents more per kilowatt. BEL says this is needed to keep power reliable, especially with climate change and more people needing electricity. They promise better service, less outages, and more access to solar in the future. Belizean people, we need to sleep with our own eyes. We need to make it with business to learn more about these two utility companies. Nobody could look out for your interests like you. Nobody. And that's why I encourage, and remember now, I don't have no desire to sit down and read one 91-page document with all the technical jargons that like another language to me. So I sent it to an attorney out of the country. The attorney just got into the system. AI come up with on one page, as was asked for in the search engine, and that's the way I just share with you now. We need to stay on top of this. There's nobody looking out for the interests of the people. BWS look out for BEL look out for BEL interests. Morning, talk to me.
Good morning, YaYa.
Morning.
I'm glad you bring up these utilities. I got a phone call yesterday evening from WhatsApp.
From where?
From WhatsApp, BWS.
From WhatsApp.
That if I did not go and pay $18.86 before Thursday, they would cut my water.
Mm-hmm.
I asked the young lady, I said, yeah, it used to be over $50 to get cut. Then it was 30 for another. Over 10. I find, like you said, we own this company. And then they run me down for $18.86. And you have people with over thousands when it seems to get it. Something not right with these companies.
I hear you,
What
brother.
do you think about that?
And our legitimate, so this is the word they say. When people have these legitimate concerns, what we for do other than cuss, holler, scream, and talk, call and talk show, and they still do what they want to do. So we don't know the policies. And this is the way I find unfair, brother. They want quick to tell you that them policy they're online, and that your responsibility for read the policy and follow the rules. You know how many Belizean people are struggling readers, are unable to read? So if you may in tune with the community, you may know that. If you may care about the community, you may find one way, like year-long public awareness campaign, with credible people in your ad, will look like the everyday people where they consume the utility, so that we could have the knowledge. So with the knowledge, we could make different positions. I never know that, brother. But it seems to me...
Another problem I have with WhatsApp. They send you your bill via telephone, but they only send the account number. When you go to pay the bill, unless you go to WhatsApp, you need to know the meter number. But they never put the meter number on the bill. They only put the account number. So why is it that if you need both numbers, why is it they only put the account number and don't put the meter number, which is more important? Every time you go to the bank, you go to one of these other outlets to pay your bill, what is your meter they cannot. With BEL, it's different. Once you give BEL your account number, that's all you need. They find the rest. I leave you with that.
Thanks for the call, brother. I appreciate it. I learned, I never know that. And then it seemed to me that after COVID done, I don't know if because COVID I'm going to do it, and I want to tell you I guilty. I don't want them people going to pay them bill on time. That was not being disciplined. And so that's a part of a wee mind shift. If you have the money, and sometimes I have to wait till I get paid for pay the bill. It's really important I would try pay the bill when the bills are due. I don't make no excuse for that. And if you can't pay it when the bill due, you call and ask them for an extension. Then they tell me this year, you only could call and ask for an extension 3 times. I don't want it, then they make up rules as they go along. Before COVID, it seemed to me that you had a longer time for pay your bill, but now that like you have to call in advance, and it can't be more than 1 week. Like then really the pressure. I don't tell you that one lot of we unemployed, one lot of we salaries not to go up, cost of living to go up. One number of we that struggling readers or are not able to. So people live with one a lot, but like all they want for them pound of flesh. So something has to be done in a meaningful way when it comes to Belize Electricity Limited and BWS, what we call it, YaYa, as far as the relationship with the community, and get the sense that we are your employers. We're not going to head and forget it. And we Belizean people need to act like we're the employers. I know the step for going there and be disrespectful as I have been. But boss up. We not beg on up for nothing. Act like we're the employers and hold leadership accountable. But that's 7:30. Finish telling them my PUC experience and BWS. It's 2 cents come time, and it's being sponsored by Fort Point Security.
Watching WB, and this is XTV. I got to say a big respect to our sponsors, 4 Point Security, and a lot of senior citizens are upset because 55 is the age for retirement. A lot of public servants are unhappy because they have to retire at age 55. Let's go find out the people in 2 cents and see how they feel about it.
Yeah, I think 55 now a good age.
As a public servant, if you think 55 is good for retirement?
Yeah. Give somebody else one break, the younger generation.
All right.
At 55, you're supposed to do, get by your foot and have it all together.
All right. Now you're 2 cents.
Yeah.
It's good for a public servant to retire.
60, 55, that's still young men. That's just my opinion.
Now you're 2 cents.
Yeah, my 2 cents.
All right. You think 55 is a good time for public servant retire?
Boy, well, I think so.
55?
55.
So you don't want to retire, you 55?
Oh, well, they can't retire me at 55 because then by end of the day you have to know what you worth at your age. You know what I mean?
So you're 2 cents.
Yes, you have to know what you worth at your age because then by end of the day if you 55 and you still strong, you continue to work. So it makes sense to
retire.
And even though 55 don't good age for anything, period, we can start there.
55 don't good age for public retire?
Brick. Yes, Brick. Yes, Brick.
55 is a good age for public servant retire?
Too early. Everybody else have to work long.
How you think 55 is a good age for public servant retire?
That's the part, sir. We are very strong. I like me, I wonder why they give up 55, because 55 is very healthy and going good.
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Wednesday, April 16, 2025. The Wednesday before Holy Saturday cross country race this year. I spent quite a bit of time this morning talking about two utility companies, Belize Electricity Limited, Belize Water Services Limited, and the Public Utilities Commission, which they're a regulator, and are primarily then a regulator as it relates to money, rates, and how traditionally, everyday Belizean people, working class people, which are the majority of the people in this population, and by extension, the families where they come from who are impacted when it comes to money management, how utilities are paid or not paid, because we have a number of people where have services where not legit. People living in extreme conditions, then they try provide for their family, then take risk. We've heard of such fires. So it's real. And that's why I feel strongly that Belize Electricity Limited and Belize Water Services Limited, as our employees, have one duty for figure out one reasonable way for communicate with the majority of our customers, especially residential people. I don't advocate for the big business. They ain't got their own organization for their voices get heard. Then I usually the status quo people will go to the consultation and for their voices get heard. But our voices are not heard. And we know they're not heard because safe spaces not created for the genuinely hear we voice. Yes. Before one could even open a mouth, because that when they come, you know, consultation traditionally I believe are just tokenism. Consultation are 2 hours, they want to take 1 hour and a half to tell you what they want you here. Then they give you half an hour and tell you only got half an hour because shop off a shot. We're not simple. You know, they come down a consultation because they're not genuine about it. Only if you come in up for weak communities. Before you can even open up your mouth, no say. You don't want to get one ton load of angry words. Because Belizean people have been angry with these utility companies and we feel justified to be angry. Because we not feel that there's no safe space. These are utilities that we need. And you either pay it or you're not pay it. How you think we're going to feel? But, so, before even, I don't got no colonial papers, and I don't know where I don't got colonial papers in, but a lot of them come from working class families. I don't know if you forget where they come from. So the need for, before you can make connections, which is about trust, no say, we ratted with them. More so we. Ratted. Rightly so. That's so much years, on our own, not come up with, and I just said to people, if what want to do the work, if you're in a Dalavan, you hear about it. And that is a concert, you get a Dalavan, you hear about it. So you need to know if the kind of impact for you to do, and for as long as the service is being provided. Morning, talk to me. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, I had to get static fire. It could be that. Just try to put your mic close to the phone. What you say? I did hear you a little better.
Okay, but we're talking about the public services and we are getting very disappointed, but I have to cooperate with the government now. It's not bill at the time I forgot it. Me from everybody read right, or the people who didn't start reading. Not good right stuff or whatever. But my bill, I was out. I don't think my bill is supposed to be so high. So I compare my usage with more like the man neighbors, some neighbors more like the one nearly. I think the one nearly the same thing. I when it pays far less than me. So I kind of concerned. And then my next question is, my last month bill was $138.08. Next bill come again, $138.60. So 10 cents difference. And this is a habitual thing. I don't know how your bill one is different by 10 per 50 shillings per month. everything is good. But we don't have no problem with it. So we have a plus. So I don't know why we need that or why the is so high and why it always be young in the same place or same car all the time. So but I say and I think when you go check that out. But 130 estimate to high compared to my neighbor in Paco, 711. So I might
I hear you, brother, and I appreciate you calling and sharing that. Because only the people want to save the people. The more we learn how the service is supposed to work, and then it take one level of discipline for we part to say, this is the date when meter to read, this is the date when bill due, make I go write down the meter, the numbers for the meter right now, make I document everything in my house, how much people live here. Like, you really have to advocate for you and your household, but my thing is, even if you do all that, brother, where is the space where BEL want genuinely listen to your complaint? Imagine how much time you get surgeries in one day and your appliances get burned out. What BEL got the money for give everybody with their appliances burn out what reimbursement or getting some, like, there's no space for the people's concern to be heard. Morning.
Good morning again. When you look at the average electrical utility house in Belize, or what I see myself in Belize City, a lot of people are sharing a lot of underground wires to their neighbor or to their family that's in their yard from 20 feet away. We're not putting any type of PVC or EMT conduit underneath the ground. But another thing which causes electrical leakage is the ambient temperature, because I don't think Belize back in the 70s or 80s are using the appropriate wire gauge wire as far as conductors. That's because you have an electrical conductor with wire coating on it, insulation. That doesn't mean it serves that purpose in that condition of weather in Belize. You got THHW, you got THW. What type of wires are they using in Belize for the houses, for the new residential, or for way back in the days? A lot of house fires are caused by the conductor wires being too old, and they get melted like sneakers and stuff like that in your electrical circuit. That's how fires are started from electrical boxes from the outlets. It's not because of the spark, it's because of your conductor wires. And a lot of people are not using the right conductor wires in Belize. They're using old school wires, and those wires have less resistance. Resistance is something that opposes current. And if your wires is less resistance, it's going to cause more wire leakage. I'm an electrical instructor at a college, so I'm just telling you, basically, the wire temperature over there is not dealing with the right ambient temperature. Some guys are using wires from the back in the 70s and 80s, and those wires need to be modified or need to be changed out. Yes, ma'am. That's all I got to say for Trade Tech. Your Illuminati. Peace out.
Thanks, brother. One love. And I appreciate these conversations because I learn. And it really, we have to look out for ourselves. The more knowledge we have, and I know we have to work on the way we communicate too, but there's a space when people have to let off how they feel. Constantly feeling that, and not all the time because we feel some meanness, but our perception of reality. And so I said to BEL, well, I tell her we're in a communication with BEL right now. BWS, and really this should be lifelong. This shouldn't be for one summer or one calendar year. This should be a way of life for the utility companies. Have public awareness campaign year-round, meaningful, as well as face-to-face communication. This has been a long-lasting complaint with BWS. People have a right to choose who their phone provider. There's no 800 number for somebody who have one smartphone. I have one. There's no 800 number. Long I complain about it. Long. Nothing done about it. And if I say anything what I wrong about, I could call right now. No problem. Show me I wrong, I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong. And I got no problem with that. In that process, I had to learn. And so anytime I have one incident like this, I say, yeah. Besides the fact that you did pay the bill late, maybe there was an opportunity for you to learn so you can share with other people. That's why I have to tell myself sat on my feelings sometimes where I feel. And I usually say, just to be transparent, I said at BWS, I said at PUC, I did disclose, I work for a media house, and believe me, tomorrow morning, it won't be front and center upon the conversation. And even if I'm not hosting, I might say, I want to call the media house and bring this to the public attention. Because one lot of time, that not only we want to go through anything, but because we don't have no way, I'm not on Facebook. People may go to Facebook and post, but I wouldn't be aware of that. So that not only me have these concerns, these are legitimate concerns. And what I have, what people may not have, that the time for follow up with them, for call them, for go there, for count them down. That's what I make for. My number is 671-8050. If you have BWS or BEL concern, you could send me a text on WhatsApp, and I want to take a deep breath, get to a new composition book, and write down person number 1 in this district. Blah, 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 blah. And the only circle build one database, because if we not, or you know they say you get what you organize for. This that one serious. I not make. You're going to issue upon one holiday or a weekend, which bring me, make a stretch talking. Public transportation. Central Transit in particular out of Ladyville. You have one duty based on a road permit for post the bus schedule. How much he has the Central Transit, the road out of Ladyville and Lards Bank? No schedule posted. That for last April I start this campaign, you know, because I meet one sister last Easter season, we sit down, just have baby days ago and sit down for over 4 hours, that pong had to wait for a bus. This morning I hitchhiked down with one security guard. Thanks to the vision people who give me a ride. For said that the person want to know what that the bus schedule out of Lards Bank for Friday, Good Friday. We need one schedule. We need the bus for run panel schedule for this whole country, but at the top was Central Transit in particular. Morning, talk to me. Morning, talk to me.
Yes, greetings, sister.
Morning, brother. Morning.
It's Ramadan. The Field Negro. I'm so happy to I want to say first, I wanted to give you respect and congratulate you because I don't know, I'm not really trying to insult anyone or especially female, but in my life I've come across a lot of females and I learned something from you yesterday. Well, I like to hear what you say yesterday. Yesterday you said that you was, I think you said it was 59, right?
59 May 7th.
Huh?
On May 7th, next month, I'll be 59 years old.
Okay. So what I like is that you, I believe, in my opinion, my personal opinion, nobody has to agree with me. Any woman that is honest will not deny her age. But I come across some women, they never want to tell you their age. So to me, there's something fishy about it. So I respect and congratulate you for coming forward and be 50. Yeah, I believe that to be an honest person. Also, as you mentioned, birthday, well, I am thankful to the Most High that today we complete my 65th anniversary since God make it possible. My beloved, rest in peace, mother, gave birth to me 65 years ago.
Shay. Happy Earth Strong, brother.
No. Another thing I heard by Stamp yesterday, Timmy Stamp. He said he didn't go to school until only standard 2. But they did say everybody have their own experience. And that is so true because he went to standard 2, some didn't go any at all. I went to standard 6 because I'll be honest. In standard 6, I realized I don't like school, so after standard 6, I don't want to go to no more school. But I realized something that is also what Bob Marley said. Life is one big road with a lot of signs. So when you travel to the road, don't you complicate your mind. And another thing is say, put your dreams to reality. Don't bury your thoughts. Put them to reality. So I feel all those young men that growing up right now from maybe the age of stop and others come from the same area. We grew up poor and we are carried poor, though we was eating enough bread and stew beans and so. But we make it, he make it, I make it. At the age of 19, my dream was to go and travel abroad, to travel the sea. I wanted to be a sailor. At the age of 79, Bob Marley said, don't bury your thought. I make it. I went out in the sea up to about the age of maybe 35, something. I enjoyed there and I make it my dream come true.
Congratulations,
so that's
brother.
Encouragement to all those young men out there. Don't get down because you come from the ghetto or this and that. No, we don't come from the ghetto. We make it ghetto. This morning I hear about, like you know, Khalid Mohammed said, it's not that we were born like that or we grew up. They make us like that. And it doesn't make a difference. Khalid Mohammed don't make difference wherever you are in the world.
I have to go, brother. I have one break and I have one guest. Big thanks. I have to quickly, we have one guest when we come off of this break, but I was sent a flyer for a fundraiser for a sister. It's a medical fundraiser, April 16th, which will be on 16th is Holy Saturday. It's a fundraiser at the corner of Raccoon and number 11 Coruscant Street. They're selling, it's a medical fundraiser for Brother Claude Jones' wife. Claude Jones played on Raiders, on the Raiders basketball team. So then they sell chicken $10, pork $15, sausage wrap $7, combo $20, full combo $25, barbecue. You could call or text 614-7974 or 600-8186. Delivery available in Belize City. So again, this I want to call out to community members. On Holy Saturday, there's a medical fundraiser for Brother Claude Jones' wife. What they'll have on sale will be chicken, barbecue chicken for $10, barbecue pork $15, sausage wrap $7, combo $20, full combo $25. And the number to call or text is 614-7974 or 600-8186. There's delivery in Belize City. We'll take one quick break, switch gears, come back with a guest who has been living and working in El Salvador for over 30 years. She's a European American, Leslie Should. When Leslie come here and tell me if I pronounce the name right. Quick break. morning and welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. No calls for at least the next 30 minutes or so. And we have a guest, virtual guest by Zoom. We have, well, she lives and works in El Salvador for over 30 years. She's not there currently, but it did work though, at least as far as I know it did work. Good morning, Leslie Schold. I hope I pronounced your name correct this time, Leslie.
Yes, you are. Good morning, YaYa. And Wake Up Police, good morning.
I actually got on YouTube just now for see how to pronounce the name. I'm like, come on, YaYa, you have to do better than this. Pronounce Leslie's name right. Before we get started, Leslie, I need to make a correction. In the last segment, I said that the fundraiser barbecue for Claude's wife, it's a medical fundraiser. Done on Holy Saturday, that today. Thank you, Harlan, for holding me accountable. The barbecue is today, and they have chicken for $10, pork $15, sausage wrap $7, combo $20, full combo $25. You could call 614-7974 or 600-8186, delivery in Belize City. So it's a fun medical fundraiser today. On call, if you not eat it, you could still pay the money and then give it to a needy person in the community. Come on, we have to come out and help this sister. She's seeking money for take care of her medical needs. Thanks. Okay, Leslie. So, we have Leslie here today. I have contacts, right? And last year I reached out to my contact. Leslie was on Sunday Review. This is on different space, different audience. Quite a bit has happened. How are you being, first off? Let me check in with you, because when people do the kind of work that you do and lead with a team of people, there's a NGO called, it's the Center for Exchange and Solidarity, CIS. Leslie and a team of people work in marginalized communities. We hopefully get a chance to talk about that. But I'm checking in with you to say, how are you being?
Well, thank you. You know, I've been better. The suspension of rights in El Salvador now gone on for 3 years, since March 27th of 2022. So it's quite stressful, the violation of human rights, to see the people suffering, mostly poor people, are the victims of Bukele's policies, and things are getting worse for the poor. Schools are being closed, health clinics are being closed, cultural centers are being closed, and all the investments is going into tourism and places for the wealthy so that it's safe for them. But the poor people are more vulnerable than ever. So it's quite, when you're walking and accompanying the people, you're suffering because you feel they're suffering. That affects me. So thank you for asking, but I haven't given up my spirit or love for the people, and I will continue to fight with them.
That's a real response. Oftentimes, Leslie, that's not the sentiment we get from El Salvador. What we're hearing is, based on traditional media, that it's the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, that people are pleased that they could move around because the criminals are locked up. What's the truth? Because when I spoke with you last June, you shared that there are other prisons besides the main prison, CCOT, that people are aware of human rights violations, that it's not the first time this has happened in El Salvador. I think in the 1930s, another president had done it. So what's really happening? You said for 3 years, there has been like a state of emergency. What happens during that length of time, and why is it going on so indefinitely?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. And I think it's, well, first of all, yeah, people do feel safer because they can cross into opposite gang territories, or Salvadorans that live in the United States, that come for a week and go to the beach, the family lets them go out on the streets where they didn't let them before. So that's why, you know, a lot of the propaganda is very powerful inside and outside El Salvador. Unless something happens to you, you may feel safer. But many people, especially in the neighborhoods with scarce economic resources, do not let their sons go out after dark for fear of being arrested by the police arbitrarily. So it's a double double-edged sword. On the one hand, you don't see the presence of gangs, but it's not it's a superficial or mediatic piece because they haven't gotten any to the root causes of why the gangs exist, the social and economic inequality. In fact, they're making the conditions worse for the poor. And a lot of the gang members left the country. Now, of course, you see on TV these horrible images of Sekot with all the tattooed gang members and that are in the new high security prison. Those gang members have been in jail for prior to the regime of exception and prior to Bukele. He transferred them from the other prisons. And many, as I mentioned, many of the gang members left. There are gang members arrested, of course, but thousands of innocent people are also arrested. And the regime of exception, it started because there was killings of gangs weekend in March of 2022. They declared the state of exception. Now they declare that there's no gang members, but why? That's a very good question. Why does it continue? And it's not just used against gang members. People that are vulnerable, many people with mental health issues, many people with alcoholism have been swept up. Many poor people, all you had to do is dial 123 and say your neighbor's a gang member because you don't like them or you're competing for their business or you want their girlfriend. And with no questions asked, people will be arrested with no proof of a crime. And now they've been in jail for 3 years. The people that are arrested, they have no contact with their family, no written or communication, no visits. The few people that we've gotten out of prison, testified to horrible conditions. They've lost 60 pounds, they're full of scabies, they have kidney failure. Many people die shortly after getting out because of the abuses. They're beaten in prison. And so, the images you're showing are the Sekot prison, and actually the other prisons where the innocent are being kept are even worse conditions. The families have to bring food, hygiene, medicine, clothing. And Sekot, the state is actually providing at least 3 meals. Obviously, it's horrible conditions. I don't want to glamorize it, but according to people that have gotten out of the prisons where innocent people, the old prisons, conditions are worse. There's 200 to a cell with 1 toilet. People are sleeping on the floor in feces. In Sekot, everyone, even though they're all piled up for the photo opportunity, we presume everyone has their own bed because it's built for 40,000 prisoners. And according to the Salvadoran government, there's only 14,500 there, plus the 238 Venezuelans that were just sent there from the United States. And the regime, the suspension of rights, is not just used against gangs, it's also that they've been using against markets and vendors in city centers in El Salvador. People are that pay for their posts, that pay taxes. They're told that if it's in a prime real estate, they have 72 hours to leave, or the regime will be applied against them, and they know that's to be thrown in jail with no right to a lawyer, no due process, and infinitely never getting out. And it's being used against vendors. It's being against human rights defenders. President Bukele wants to implement metallic mining, which the majority of Salvadorans are against because it's very damaging to the environment. It's been done before. The rivers are dead, brown, where they mined before. They use cyanide to do the mining. So Salvadorans are against it, and the organizers against the mining are being arrested as well. So critics of the government are now becoming victims of the regime of exception as well. So I think it's, propaganda is very strong. He invests millions to put out a positive image of himself and the country, but the reality, especially for the poor, is a different reality. so yeah, we're very, very concerned about where this is going and why it's continuing. And it's just, I think, people saw how President Trump sent 238 Venezuelans to El Salvador State Prison with no, again, the same model of Bukele, no due process. According to the investigation by a very well-respected TV show, 60 Minutes in the United States, the majority of those sent to Secot had no criminal record. Only 22% had any criminal record, and most were for minor things like theft or trespassing. Only 12 of the 238 had, grave criminal felony records for murder or rape. And so 12 of the 238. So it's similar to the model of Bukele. You throw in some criminals and the majority migrants or innocents, and then say criminalize migrants, say they're all criminals, and it has a bigger impact in the media, saying if Trump just sent 12 Venezuelan criminals to El Salvador, it's not going to have the impact that he wants to create, that he's cleaning up crime, whereas 238, it's a big mediatic impact. The same with President Bukele. When he announced the regime of exception, he said he wanted 60,000 people arrested, presumably the number of gangs in El Salvador. Now he's arrested 85,000 people. And, if he's just arresting of those 85,000, 30,000 are gang members, it's not the same mediatic impact and control of the population that you're going to have to living in fear. Because many people got arrested too when they went to the police station to ask why their loved one was arrested, they got arrested too. So people are living in fear to speak out for reprisals, for, to be stigmatized, because everyone, the message was put out that if you're arrested, you did some crime, but there's no evidence to back that up. No evidence has been presented for thousands of these people. And many people, I should say too, that are arrested are the victims of the gangs themselves, because anyone was arrested if they gave a ride to a gang member, gave food to a gang member, gave information to a gang member, which many Salvadorans were required to do under the threat of death. If somebody says they're going to come and kill your daughter, but you have to provide a ride to the gang members, you're going to provide the ride because they follow through on their threats if they want something. So it's quite. So I think the popularity is, people were obviously the gangs have been a big problem in El Salvador, but the question is, what is the price and where are these gangs and will they come back? As I said, many escaped, many of the government, it's been well documented. Some were the worst horrible criminals already had sentences of 40 to 160 years, and with no judicial process, the Salvadoran government got them out of jail. They got a get out of jail free card. And many of them were arrested in Mexico and are now in New York federal prison. And President Bukele has asked President Trump to send them back, basically to silence them, because they know the truth about how they got out of jail free, about what the kind of negotiations they may have had with the Salvadoran government.
From the images that are shown, and I am tired of seeing the images, because the images are part of the propaganda, but and that's the only image. It's like having a singular narrative. You're not seeing any other images. There was a protest, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know who organized the protest. I don't know how well attended it was. I didn't hear a lot about the protest, but you keep seeing these images. Can you share a little bit about Bukele's background prior to being the president? Why it is that we're seeing these images and these singular images over and over again?
Well, Bukele, he was in propaganda in media before he got into politics. And he's a young person, so he also knew how to manipulate social media very well. He became mayor of a small town in El Salvador and then later mayor of the biggest city, San Salvador. And he was very popular because of his work, his connection with young people in El Salvador. And people were sick of the old political parties. And he actually did good things for the city when he was mayor. He cleaned up the city. He had programs for youth at risk. Instead of throwing him in jail, he had programs for education, for learning a trade. And then when he became president, he seduced people and a campaign that he was going to build, a university in every department in El Salvador, and many things, better health care, that if nobody robbed, there was enough money to do everything. But yet it's quite the opposite. He's investing people's tax dollars in propaganda. He's tripled the size of the military. He invested millions in Bitcoin, trying to make that the legal tender, which people know that through crypto money, there's a lot of illicit economic stuff going on. So he has drained the people's pensions fund. He's been borrowing that without any interest to pay for some of the debts of the country. So when he started off, people said he was very popular, but then he started, being a bully, following this model where he is the law. He does not, as soon as he got a majority in the Congress, he illegally removed the Supreme Court with no process and put in judges that would be favorable to him. So we've lost the separation of powers, or the base of democracy in El Salvador. So anyway, that's how he got in, and why he's doing this. It seems, you would have to ask him that, but it's, I think it's going to be detrimental to the country, to the poor majority that live there. It's building a country for people with money. So many people, especially Salvadorans that live abroad, feel safe to come now and and they have money to spend, so it's fine for them. But now a lot has been invested in tourism, but now the average Salvadoran can no longer afford to go to the beach because the price has doubled, tripled to go rent a house on the beach or go to a place on the beach for the weekend. And same with real estate. So it's making it very difficult for the average Salvadoran that has lived there their whole lives to continue to survive. Their economic power has gone way down.
From what you're reporting, with the failure of the state, what would the Center for Exchange and Solidarity, which is just one NGO, what can you do, or what are you doing to give people hope, to empower people? What are people's response when the NGO that you lead engage with the people on your team?
Well, our most hopeful program is we give scholarship and leadership to young people in communities with scarce economic resources to go to high school and university. They're the first, often in their community, they're the first generation in their family, and they are not only getting skills and education so they can be protagonists in their own country, in their own development, in their own building a better country, they are also lifting up the community with them. They do community projects every year, and building that, community, that tapestry, that community building is really important. So that's, what gives us hope is these young people have a different outlook and they want to participate in their government. They don't want, one leader that's waving a magic wand without consulting the population about what is best for the future or what the implications of policy changes are. So that's, one of our strongest programs and most transformative programs, I would say, that we have as an NGO. of course, with the human rights situation now, we're also many people in the communities where we work, some were high risk with gang problems, and some were completely had no gangs at all. But we work in communities that are marginalized economically, and they are the victims of this regime of exception. We have many innocent people, scholarship students arrested. So we're fighting to get them out of jail, fighting to get innocent people out of jail. But it's very difficult. They were letting out some of the innocent people the first year, but afterwards, since they were giving their testimony of the horrors inside the prison, they virtually stopped letting people out. Some people are still getting out, especially if they have grave health conditions, because obviously it looks bad. There's been documented 380 murders or deaths due to medical negligence of people in the innocent prisons. And the images you show, the propaganda images, nobody's died in the prison where the majority of the hardened criminals are kept. The people are dying in the prisons where the innocent people are kept. So yeah, it's very difficult. We accompany the families. They have to bring, as I mentioned, they have to bring food and clothing and medicine and hygiene once a month to their family members in the innocent prisons. And so we help them occasionally with that. And mostly we're, providing lawyers and doing every step of the way, since there's not, since the legal openings have closed in El Salvador to get people out through a due process. No adult in this 3 years has been brought to trial. There's been no due process to be able to get out. Some people we've got out on hearings with just substitute measures. They have to still sign in every 15 days with the courts, and they're awaiting trial. But we've given enough arguments that a few people have gotten out. According to the Salvadoran government, 8,000 of the 85,000 arrested have been released in the last 3 years. But that's a very small margin of the innocent people that are in the prisons. So we are going through all the legal steps now, because there's very little opening in El Salvador to go through a legal process. We're taking the cases to the United Nations. We've been to New York and we've been to Geneva, and are documenting the cases as well to take it to the international level.
You keep using a terminology that most Belizeans and listeners would not be familiar with. We don't think of innocent people in jails. We have another 7 minutes or so. What are innocent jails?
Well, okay. I mean, they are jails for prisoners that the government has accused of being gang members, but they have not presented any proof. Many of these people we've known for decades. Our organization has worked on an island called the Holy Spirit Island in Uslutan since 1998, since Hurricane Mitch. There's never been a gang presence there, and 25 people have been arrested there. So we, we're working with people that we know, and that's why I'm saying they're innocent. And people that have gotten out, I always ask, because I met somebody in the streets last week, and he opened up, he gave me a ride, and he said he was in for 6 months. And I asked him, how many innocent people were in your cell? He said, the vast majority. I've asked that question to other people that have gotten out, how many innocent people were in your cell? He said, at least 75%. In Mariona prison, where a lot of the prisoners are held, it was the main men's prison. There's like 15 cells, and I always ask people that got out, what cell you were in, and of the 15 cells, only 2 were filled with gang members. So that's why I'm presuming them innocence, which is a right and constitutional right in El Salvador, whereas through the regime of exception, they are being presumed guilty in practice. So that's why I'm saying that's where innocence. They're accused, and I'm presuming them innocence because no proof has been presented of any crime. but
Okay.
that's my opinion. I should say that. But obviously, the government's saying they're criminals. They're
Okay.
stigmatizing them as criminals. But I would argue, because I've lived in El Salvador 31 years, and I know people in there, and I know people that have gotten out, that many are innocent. And they haven't been moved to Secot, which is, if they are such criminals, then why haven't they, that Secot, the image, the propaganda image, that is the center for confinement of terrorism. So if they are terrorists, why aren't they being moved there? So I think the government as well knows that there's been no lack of proof of any crime. And an interesting thing, one of the things to try to prove their innocence that we present is that they have no criminal record. And, whereas gang members are in and out of prison, for prior to this, they would go to prison and maybe get out 3 days later. But so they all have criminal records, and they're used to surviving in prison. So the people at the beginning, we were getting their criminal records, and they had no previous criminal records. So that's an element to prove their innocence. Now, because the majority had no criminal record, the government stopped making those records accessible to their family members to prove their innocence. Now the family cannot go and say, I want their police record, their prison record, because at the beginning people could get those, and of the ones we got, 90% had no criminal record. So that, I think, is another element. I mean, not completely, but to prove that they are not gang members, because gang members, as I said, even though were in and out of prison frequently, if they couldn't prove a crime that they were involved in. Now, to be a member of a gang is a crime, but they haven't proven, these people have no tattoos, no of the traditional markings or that would prove that they're in a gang.
Thanks, Leslie. With segment come to an end. I know it's a short and fast segment. It's different from being on Sunday Review, but we really thank you for taking the time out. We'll have to bring you back more often in both spaces so we can hear from within communities another perspective other than the propaganda image that we keep seeing. And then you hear people saying, well, we should do what they're doing in Salvador, not knowing the impact of that on majority everyday working class people. So big thanks to you, Leslie, for your leadership, for your commitment to the people of Salvador, and know that we'll continue to keep you and the people that you work with in high vibrations. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's important to know the other side of the coin, and because many people are saying, yeah, we want a Bukele, but they don't know all the ramifications. So thank you for listening to the other side of the coin.
Thanks. Take
care. God bless
you.
Thank you.
Break time.
In Belize, we value our family.
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes talk show here on XTV, simulcasting on Creme Radio, live streaming on XTV Belize on YouTube and XTV Belize on Facebook. We have 5 more minutes. If somebody wants squeezing one call at 280-5848, and I mean squeezing the call, you'll have like 2 minutes. Because it's definitely time for lock up the shop. This morning, I spent quite a bit of time talking about the 2 utility companies, Belize Electricity Limited and Belize Water Services, and consistent concerns from community members, primarily residential users. And for say that the companies need to do better. Manny, you got 2 minutes. Thanks for calling. Tell me. Talk.
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, like I told you, Sister YaYa, the cost of materials in electrical supplies has went up 3 times the amount. I do side jobs, I do houses, remodels, and everything. What I paid for a pack of couplings that cost $5 now costs $15 to $20 for that same pack of couplings before COVID. So, you know, Home Depot, Lowe's, everything went up in the electrical department. Even my side jobs, I have to increase the price because of my pricing or my estimates because everything went up. So I can remain the same as a business contractor charging the same thing when the materials went up 3 times the price. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, brother. All I say is, for we salary, for we wages, people unemployed, no money not to come in, for we wages not to go. Everything to go, something wrong, brother.
Yeah, same thing in America too. Everybody in LA on Facebook ain't doing good. I mean, look good on with the FUBU and Nike and Jordans on the South Central LA, but people in LA ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, you making $20 in LA, you can't survive by yourself in LA with $20 an hour. Back in the days, I could pay the rent, I could pay my car note, I could pay my insurance, and be comfortable. You can't do that nowadays. Living in South Central LA or living in America, everything just goes up every year. You know?
I hear you, brother. I have to shut up shop though, so I have to go. But thanks for the call back.
Yes, ma'am. Peace
One
out.
love. Take care. Guidance. Yes, the time to shut up the shop. When I came in this morning, the security guard was Roger Rushford, known as Rafa. Now it's Shane Flowers, Master Chief Operator Harlan Wagner, Chief Engineer at XTV's brother Cliff Lewis. Downstairs at Creme Radio is Larry Guerrero, known as Larry G. The show on repeat at 3:30 today. Remember, going into a long weekend. Please take care of yourself. And especially if you're responsible for younger children, if you're responsible for elders, if you're responsible for people with special abilities or disabilities, take time with them people. Please treat them with respect, with kindness, with compassion. Treat them like you don't want somebody to treat you. And if you have animals, like dogs, please make sure if you're not going that them dogs have one shade, that they have food where ants don't eat and then they can't eat, or the bird they know a bucket way, that they have fresh water, that the container where they feed them in a clean, that the area where they clean, and don't have stool. Take care of the animals there. Please. I'm a dog person, that's why I bring up the dog there. Specifically, I want to thank Belizeans who have called, tuned in, hailed me up out the road. Oh, I'm going to talk about Central Transit bus. We need to know before Friday where the bus to run from Lourdes Bank, from Ladyville. What time, and make sure you're on time. Transport Department, new Transport Minister, this stuff for you. Make sure Central Transit post them bus schedule in our public space, our requirement of the bus permit. That means what days they for run, what time they for run, what part they for run pan, especially pan public and bank holidays. People shouldn't wait for hours. Listen to me. No, do right by with people. Do right by with people, especially Central Transit bus. Thursday, Friday, especially Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all the bus companies in the country, the holiday. People get sick. Do right by people. New transport minister. I know who the new transport minister. Do right by people. You're new in this position and ring the bell. Central Transit need to post them, but it's so much how long the bus company they run and a post them bus schedule. You don't know when then they run. All right, I can't say I never tell you no. I tell you no. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of the day because I intend to do the same. And until then, remember say, only the people and save the people.
Wake up, believe.
Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a nation.